Sorry, Philip.
Philip. It cracks me up that you keep going, Philip.
Philip.
This is really escalated. Okay, so yes.
Move on.
So, our time at university, has it helped us or
Has it hindered us?
we did an episode last week, didn't we? And it was a big Q&A, and we had a lot of questions about university and whether it was beneficial, whether we would do it again, how we got into it, what we studied, and we thought there's actually a lot more to it than the one answer that we put out, wasn't there?
Yeah, like we could speak for hours on this because
Yeah.
I think university is just such a big part of, if you do go, of your life.
Absolutely. And also we have some confessions.
Yeah.
So basically we're going to do a whole episode on spilling the tea from uni,
Yeah, we've
whether
got
it
plenty
was
to
worth
talk about.
it. And also we've had some listener confessions in, haven't we?
Yeah.
Um,
So let's get the ball rolling.
yeah.
Let's go for it.
Should we start with the background, like where it all began?
Yeah.
Because
We
as we
didn't
mentioned,
actually get into our first choice university because we're thick.
yeah, absolutely. But don't let that stop you, because look where we
No.
are now.
Yeah, I just feel like it was so hard though, wasn't it?
No, it
So much
was.
pressure on you. When I was doing my A levels, I had 5 exams in one day.
Yeah,
I was
it was
in
ridiculous,
I was in
really.
the hall from 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30. They said if I had one more exam or whatever, I'd have had to stay over at a teacher's house or something. I was like, absolutely
Sure.
not. Honest.
Is that even a thing?
Well, I was laid in bed like the night before thinking, what am I even
What
thinking?
is tomorrow going on?
What am I even thinking of? It was awful.
I can't believe that.
It was
I'm
because-
surprised they're allowed to do that though.
It was
like,
because I had to resit another year, so
oh,
I was doing like an A level in a year because I was sick again and failed.
you are
Yeah,
not
I am.
thick. Girl.
Yeah, so there was that, and then I ended up not doing as good as I would have expected to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But I still was over the moon with what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do always say on this podcast that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, like if we'd have gone to uni to do what we were originally going to do, we probably wouldn't even be sitting here. We wouldn't be,
No.
because we wouldn't know each other.
We definitely wouldn't be, and I just feel like grades do not define you.
No,
at all.
absolutely.
It's very cliche to say, but there's people who are not as academic as others, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like, oh, you can't pass science. Or...
No, absolutely. And some of the most successful people now don't even have their A levels, which no, we're not encouraging that, obviously. But like you said, like it's not everything, and it doesn't define
No,
you.
definitely not.
And like, you know, we had a really, really big knockback. I was devastated when I did get into uni. I was literally like, I felt ashamed of myself. I was like, oh my God, like I'm thick. But then at the end of the day, things work out maybe how they're meant to.
Yeah.
So originally I had applied to go to Northumbria
We
Uni.
forced it. So
And-
maybe we would have been.
Yeah, probably on the same course, no. But for me, it was very much a case of it was Northumbria or nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Northumbria was the uni really that a lot of people from home were applying to. It was like seen as the
I
cool
feel like
place.
yeah, it was a cool place, and it was
Is it because
where
we're
the
northeast
nightlife
girlies?
was. And
Yeah.
I feel like Newcastle was a bit far fetched for me because I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna get A star AA, so it's off the card.
Yeah.
So it was like the next best.
Yeah, literally. And I think as well, this was an era of like Geordie Shore was like
Yes.
prime. I think everyone thought like going to uni was gonna be like literally
Being on
living
there.
on Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
So I originally applied to do sociology and criminology, which I don't know. Now I can't see myself as like this detective that I thought I was going to be. Like, I think I genuinely just like watching like Silent Witness on the telly, and I was like, do you know what? I could do that as a
No,
job.
but that's what we are like for everything.
Yeah, I know.
We just take and absorb everything around us and think,
Literally.
that's what I'm going to do today. I'll watch a film and there'll be a baker. Well, you are technically a baker, but I'll be like, I'm going to open my own cake shop.
Yes.
Like, that's it. I'm so being so
But that is so
brave.
true. I actually saw a TikTok on that, and it was like this morning I think I saw it, and it was like, is anybody else at that point in their life where they want to do everything? And it's like, I want to
Yeah.
write a book, I want to work on a farm, but I want to live in a city, I want to live in New York, but I want to go travelling for a year. And it's like, that is so true.
Dude,
like,
that's all down to a take. It's
it
like,
really is.
which who am I going to be today? I wake up and I think, who am I? What personality? should
What
I be?
Elise do I want to be
Yeah.
today? So what did you originally apply to do?
See, for me, I applied to do event planning or event management.
Okay, so that's actually
Closer.
quite like 360, I
know.
feel.
And I don't know in my head what I was thinking I was going to do, but I can remember I went with my mum. I said this on the last one, and I was like, oh, I feel such a relief that I'm not going to do journalism.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason that I was picking journalism was because I went to a careers person, and she was like, do you like writing? Do you like being creative? And I was like, yeah,
I guess so.
I guess so. I didn't really know what I liked to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, I'll do it because someone's told me that I should do this thing, not thinking you're your own personally. So pick something that you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I can't remember how I actually thought, oh, I think I'd like event management. But yeah, I applied to do that.
I remember for me, obviously, like I said, like I didn't obviously get in. And then, like you can obviously apply to go through clearing.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. I was on holiday at the time. So I remember I wasn't obviously staying in a room with my mum and dad, and I went knocking on their door at like 8 a.m. crying. And I was like, I didn't get in. So then we literally sat there, and my mum got up like the list of like the clearing options of what like my grades, like with my grades, what I could get in to study. And it was my mum literally just went to me, oh, well, you know, like, here, what about journalism? You can do journalism
Yes,
at
sold.
Sunderland. And I was like, all right, then yeah. And I think at the time,
to go.
it was journalism and PR. And my mum was like, you know, Sophie, I could totally see you doing that.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like that, and I was just basically signed over the next 3 years of my life off my mum going, I could see you doing a bit of that. And that was it. Next thing I know, we're around with my backpack at Sunderland Uni. Like,
I'm ready. This shows how like opposite we are, because I was in Cavos when we actually got our results, and I can remember we were all around the pool and there was about 13 girls who'd all went to Cavos, all getting the results, and some of us had obviously done better than others had got in, others hadn't.
Yeah.
So everyone was just like, oh, yay! Oh, it was like
feel
the
like that would be like a
worst
TikTok
time
now,
that we
like a-
could have ever went. But I feel like everyone had actually gotten at least good grades. Like fairly good
Like
grades.
passed.
Yeah. When I got mine, I was like, woo! I could have rang my mum and said,
Shots
I failed.
on me
Yeah.
tonight.
I could have rang everyone and said I failed, like my mum, and said I failed everything. Oh, I got like D, E, U, and she'd be like, woo!
Yeah,
go!
literally. To be fair, my mum was very much like glass half full.
Yeah.
Like she was, like I said, it was her that got the clearing list up straight away, and she was like, "Do not worry, like there'll be a course for you on here. First one, I'm shipped off, basically."
You are going.
But now I look back and I do think like, and maybe it's just one of them things that it's because I've done it now. But when I look back, I think actually I don't think I could have seen myself doing the sociology and criminology. Whereas I feel like if you knew me, you would say like, yes, you would probably do journalism.
Yeah, true. I feel like for me, everyone would look and say, nah, I could not see you doing.
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist.
I think I just thought, I mean, we mentioned it in the very first episode, but as soon as the word journalism was thrown around, I then was like, oh my God, yeah.
I'm gonna be a star.
It's Holly, I'm coming for you. Like, this is it. Move over. Like, I'm going to be on This Morning, Loose Women.
Oh, I don't think
Good Morning, Britain.
Should we be bringing up This Morning with the
I'm
scandals?
probably going to get cancelled.
I know, cancel. You're like, move over, Philip.
I've heard there's an opening.
They were ready.
Yeah. Is this my call?
I've been waiting for this one. Sorry, Philip.
Philip. It cracks me up that you keep going, Philip.
Philip.
This is really escalated. Okay, so yes.
Hey, move on.
I want to watch it back. Okay, take 2. I've bandaged Elise's head up and we are fine. We're moving on.
I am creased.
I'm going to definitely cut that into a TikTok. I cannot wait.
I just get too carried away. Like
we
when
do.
we're into
We're
it, I'm
so
like,
enthusiastic. We'd give me the ick if we weren't us.
I think we're like people. I don't care anymore. I can't know it.
We're over the embarrassment.
Yeah.
So that was the background of how I ended up doing journalism.
Yeah.
However, funnily enough, so it was meant to be journalism and PR, and then I actually got a phone call, literally about 3 weeks before we were due to start, being like, not enough people have signed up for the journalism and PR course.
Oh, shit.
They were like, so it is now just going to be journalism.
See,
But they
I
did
can't
say, they were like,
remember
oh,
that.
you can choose like PR as modules like during the 3 years. That's what I did in the end. I think every year I just chose PR, and then she said if you did that, then you would still come out and obviously have like some PR qualifications or however it worked. But yeah, that was obviously the start of our 3 years.
3 years of my life.
Of hell.
Wasted.
No, Jake.
We loved it. I actually loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just feel like from the business side, it didn't really help me. Or did it? I don't know.
Because I think it's a hard one. Like, I do think just having a degree in general can help with a lot of things. But also I think it's probably a good time to mention it now is like that whole moving away from home. Like, I definitely got this sort of like newfound independence that obviously I didn't have living at home.
Yeah.
You know, you go from living under your mum and dad's roof for 18 years to obviously living in the city by yourself, and yeah, you're meeting loads of new people. And I do think it's true with uni, you can be whoever you want to be. I think it's really
sort of
hard.
like a fresh start, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No one knows who you are.
Maybe that's why it's called freshers.
Freshers?
Fresh students, fresh starts.
Is it?
I don't know, but I think I've just cracked something.
You definitely have.
Yeah, I think that's really true. Like, it is. It's a fresh start. It's a clean slate to be whoever you want to be, really.
Yeah, and we just chose to be 2 journalists. Like, who would have thought?
Literally, with our notebooks, like, yep, let me take some notes.
I can't even really remember much of my first year. Like, I can't remember the first day. I can't.
No. I
No.
feel like it was really generic, the things that we learned in first year as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was more just about, like, the different, like, publications and everything, you know, rather than actually, like, how to be a journalist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, side note, we do have a dog with us today.
A dog. We haven't just brought a random dog.
We just
off
found
the
a dog
street.
in the garden.
A dog, and we've just brought her in. No, Soph's had to bring Coco because she needed to be with someone.
Yeah, we don't
So
have any
doing it.
babysitters for
Coco.
the dog today.
Come here. I think she needs to go out. I feel like uni has been a help though, because it allows you to see what life will be like when you do leave.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sort of prepares you for the outside
does.
as well.
I
The
feel
outside's like,
at the
you're in
outside as
prison?
well. Outside the Big Brother house.
Is that Davina?
But what I mean by that is, so many people you meet, you can tell if they're going to put in the work or not put in the work. So, say you're supposed to be doing a group project or whatever.
Yeah.
I used to hate those.
Yeah, they were the worst.
Because you'd be paired with people who couldn't be asked to do anything, and then you'd be doing all the work, and then they'd get all the credit, and you'd just be
or like them people that were like, yeah, we'll meet as a group, and then literally they want to meet like 7 p.m. the one night before it's due in, and you're just like, I'd rather just get it done, like.
So then you're sat at home doing it all,
And that's really true actually, because I even find that now, obviously, like I was saying, I'm learning with the whole hiring side of things, and like having actual like being a leader.
People who'll commit and people
absolutely,
who
I
won't.
get some people that come and they're so willing to work, and their work ethic is so good, and then I get some that, to be fair, without sounding brutal, are a bit lazy.
Yeah.
And you just sort of think like, yeah, you'll have been that person
Yeah.
that was
left
willing
it to everyone else.
to leave it to other people to do for you.
It just does. It opens your eyes, and you meet so many different people, don't you?
Yeah, and you meet new friends.
Yeah. But
And
that's
as well,
good.
I remember I actually read somewhere before, and it was saying like university is a really, really good way to connect with other professionals. Like, like even your lecturers and your tutors and stuff, they're all like experts in their field, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, I remember we had some lecturers that worked with Sky. Like, do you remember the one lady that used to work on like Grazia? Like,
Yeah.
hadn't she been like an editor in chief on one
Yeah.
of the glossy magazines?
And they had loads of like life experience.
Yeah, and the
that we
stories
didn't.
that they would tell
Yeah.
us. And it is like, I think I'm still actually a member on like one of the pages on Facebook, and they still link jobs and stuff that come up now.
Yeah, and
So I think it is very much like a who you know sort of
I
industry.
feel like Sunderland University was a good uni for journalism.
Yeah, well,
like,
after we left, they started the BBC like hub thing there,
Yeah,
didn't they?
they had a hub.
Yeah,
It was good for what we did.
it was, and that's what they kept saying. Actually, wasn't like they had the whole media hub, didn't they? And all the time we were there, they were like, it is classed as a good uni for journalism.
Yeah.
So like you said, like it maybe overall doing the course we did, obviously we both are in business now, maybe it wasn't the best, but we've learned life skills from it, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I do not regret it because I had the best time ever. I enjoyed every second.
Absolutely. And we have had some stories.
We have.
I feel like, why don't we go into some of the confessions, but I think you should kick it off with the Dublin story. This story, I swear to God, is the truth. I honestly think it's one of them stories that we'll tell people and people will be like,
that didn't happen.
You know that like Twitter account that's like 100% didn't happen though?
I know. And
but
I feel
this
like
story is funny.
it just sums me up. Like, it sums everything that always happens to me up.
It does.
And it doesn't mean to happen, and it just does. And every time I'm just like, why me? Why?
Because you're just funny.
Well, it's just annoying because I'm just like, why can I just not be well, I am normal, but I don't know. We'll go into it.
Funny. So let's set the scene.
Set the scene.
So there was me and Elise, and we had another two girls that were like a little group at uni, weren't we? We like all went to our lectures together and everything, and we'd planned. We were in third year.
We finished. So it was like at the very, very end.
So we were in third year. We'd handed everything in.
Yeah.
And we said we need to celebrate, so we're gonna book a trip to Dublin.
Yeah.
We was like one of them really cheap Ryanair flights, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went from Newcastle because one of our friends lived in Gateshead at the time, and basically we had one thing left to hand in. Was it or something?
We had one thing left to hand in, and I just couldn't be. That sounds really bad.
That does sound bad, Elise.
But I had already. You're like, you know, when you submit it online and you submit it physically. I was like, I didn't drive at the time. I'm not taking this train all the way.
Bear in mind, I had driven all the way from Whitby.
Yeah, 2 types of gas. Well, like the people who put the effort in and don't.
Yeah.
I was not. I was just like, why can't they just read it online? Like, they've got it online. If you need me to send it again, I'll send it again. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I really can't be bothered. It's my last one. So I emailed my lecturer and I was like, really sorry. I completely forgot that we had to hand in our a physical copy. I said, I'm actually away in Spain at the moment, so I won't be able to hand it in tomorrow or whatever.
No, I think it was today.
No, I think it was the next day. But I just said I was in Spain because I was like, well, they definitely can't make me have a flight.
Yeah, what they're going to make you do.
What they're going to do about it.
Flight.
Yeah. And she was lovely, wasn't she, our lecturer? So I was just like, she'll be fine with it. And I didn't hear anything back, but I just thought, oh, it'll be fine.
I've sent the email.
Yeah, I've sent it now.
We like clocked off. We were in holiday mode.
Yeah, like I finished. I was just like,
we were off to Dublin.
And then we get to the airport. We're having a few drinks. We're having a good time.
We're feeling buzzing.
We got on the plane.
We weren't sitting together on the plane.
We couldn't afford to sit together
we
on the plane. We were uni students. We were like, no, we're not. Ryanair Conure anyways. We were like, we're not bloody. I didn't. We were like,
we
we'll
didn't
sit
even
separate.
take luggage, did we? We just took hand luggage.
Yeah, we were like, we'll sit separate. So we were sat dotted about on this plane, and anyways, I look up and it was coming at the end of the flight, and I see this woman, and I'm like, no, it can't be, and it's my lecturer. The lecturer is on the plane.
Lecturer. The lecturer emailed 2 hours prior saying, sorry, I'm in Spain. And she was sitting 2 rows in front of Elise.
And I was like, this cannot be happening.
And I remember as soon as we landed, you know, like everyone turns their phone back on.
And must have messaged everyone.
On the group chat, and it was like, girls, she's on the plane. And we were all like, who? What are you on about? And she said, obviously we won't mention any names, but she was like, blah blah, he's 2 rows in front of me. So obviously as everyone stands up and we're all getting our bags, and us girls are all trying to like break our necks to stay, and we were like, yeah, like we were just like, this is Elise pulling our legs, she's like this all the time, she's a joker. And it was her. So then we tried to hide, didn't we? I think we were all like this, at the
back of the plane, like we're not going down, like. And then Nicole was like, just go, all the people she teaches, she won't even notice you, just go down, we can't hide here forever, we're gonna have to move. So we start walking down, and anyways, she looks behind and she's like, girls, Elise, hi, how are you all? I could have got the ground to just swallow me whole.
It was one of them where like none of us knew whether to mention it, just to pretend nothing had happened.
Yeah,
like,
we did, didn't we? We were just like, just pretend it hasn't happened.
We just didn't mention it.
And then anyways, it gets worse. It gets worse. She was like,
this is where the story goes a bit south.
Yeah, she was like, what? Why don't we meet up for a drink? Like she was with her son and his partner.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, like, yeah, like, we'll meet up for a drink.
Tonight,
So,
yeah, they were like,
tonight. So we were like, yeah, and I just wanted to
Die.
I was like, why? No, like, this cannot be happening. So then we were like, right, she hasn't seen it clearly. We'll just act normal.
Pretend. We said, like, we were like, she's obviously on her holiday as well.
Yeah.
So she's maybe just got her out of office or not even checking
Yeah.
an email until she gets home. Like, let's just forget about it. We're going to be finished by then anyway. Like, we were like, we'll probably even have our overall grades.
She probably won't even message to meet up for a drink. Like, this is
Yeah,
completely
we
over.
really were like, she won't message us. Lo and behold, she
On the
messaged
night,
us.
she messaged us. She was like, we're in this bar, we'll come meet you. So she came and she met us and we were having the best night, weren't we?
And I remember she was buying us sex on the beach,
yeah,
cocktails.
she was.
All night.
Yeah.
And we were doing shots.
Yeah, and the drunker I got, the worse I got, the more I was thinking, I am
Yeah,
the
your
worst human
anxiety,
being in the
like,
world.
kicked
I mean, it's not
in.
even really that. It was a fib, not a lie. But
And you had actually done
I
it.
had done the work. It was just I just lied about where I was. Why did I just say
Dublin?
I don't
like,
know.
you would still have to get a flight to Dublin.
I don't know. And then by the end of the night, I just was like, look, I'm really sorry. I've lied to you. I've accidentally messaged and said that I'm in Spain, but I'm obviously not in Spain because.
And then it was one of them stories that, like, Elise said it, and then, like, I would chip in on it, but
Yeah.
in her defence, and then Nicole did
Yeah,
the same.
and then Megan
and we
and
were
we
all
were like-
just, like, chit-chatting.
Yeah.
And then I think the
She
poor
just-
lecturer just sat there like this with her cocktail. And she was just like...
And she said, yeah, girls. She said, I already read the email before I got on the plane.
Yes,
I
and
was
we
like-
were all just literally like... Oh.
She was like, I'm going to tell every single person in this uni, like, who I teach, why it's important not to fib. And I
Yeah,
was just
she
like,
said, she was like, you've provided me with a story
I will
for
tell
all the
polite.
years to come
Yeah.
now that I ever teach at uni.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we were just like, it's the most Elise thing. And like you said, you weren't lying that you'd done the work and you hadn't. Like, you
Yeah.
had done the work, but it was just, you couldn't literally have written it.
I know.
You couldn't.
I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, no way is she on this plane. And it was so funny, wasn't it? I'm just so lucky that I was her and it wasn't someone who was like
Like
really
a
strict.
scary person that was literally like, there's no excuses.
I wouldn't have, but then we wouldn't have met up for drinks, would we?
Yeah,
I'd have just
true.
run away. I'd have just
And do you know what? It's a story we live to tell now. Like,
yeah. it's so
even our
funny.
girlfriends that we obviously mentioned, Megan
Yeah.
and Nicole, they were both literally like, girls, you need to tell this story on the
Yeah.
podcast. Like, we all talk about it. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone about it, even like at home, like even people that don't know you. I'm like, well, my friend from
It's
uni.
funny. It's just stuff that happens all the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
But it's like if you wouldn't believe it, would you? Like all the planes in the world,
Yeah, that
she was on ours.
And that's
on
the
that
thing,
one
like,
bib.
fair enough, like, going to Dublin is such a coincidence as it is, but
Yeah.
then get on our plane. Of all the flights that would have been going to Dublin that day, if I had to be on that specific one.
For me, to have fibbed that day, like I'm just like, but there it
Absolutely.
is.
So Elise has kicked off the uni confessions with, I mean, a good one. So shall we read one of the ones that somebody sent in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, shall I start with this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this says, this happened during my second year at Manchester Met Uni. That was another one I applied for and didn't get it. Just saying.
See, I could imagine you being a Manchester girl.
Manchester, I feel like Manchester is
You
my
love
place. Yeah, like,
Manchester.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day I lived there for a little while.
Yeah.
I think I do really love Manchester. Anyway, side note. Okay, so this happened during my second year at Manchester Met Uni. I was living in a house with 5 other girls who I thought were all my friends. Oh God, I feel like this is going.
I'm
south.
good. I'm like this and you're like.
Oh God. Turns out I was wrong. I was with one of the girls when she left her phone on the kitchen side. I couldn't help but see a group chat pop up, and then in brackets, her phone was going crazy. Turns out the other 4 girls had a completely different group chat without me.
Oh no.
To make things worse, they had been constantly hanging out without me on nights when they had all said they were still at uni, and I was in the house by myself. Oh my God. From then on, everything changed, and when third year came around, I didn't live with any of them. I'm still not in contact with them now, 3 years later.
That's really sad.
I feel like that's like one of them stories that's like really escalated.
Yeah.
Like, from going, I was living in a house with 5 other girls, to then like I'm like that's it, like just cut out. And that's awful.
Cut out. I feel like sometimes you just get a group that may not be able to see the bigger picture of like friendship and
Yeah.
inclusion, and it's really sad at a university level because it's more like kiddie.
Yeah, it is. It's
isn't it?
childish,
Yeah,
like
childish.
playground behaviour sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I do think uni's really hard. I remember in my first year, I actually lived in a house with 10 girls.
10?
Yeah, so it was like, it wasn't like your traditional halls. It was
Yeah.
like, you went in, it was like a 3-story, almost like a mini townhouse really. Like you went in and there was like a kitchen, living area on the ground floor with like 2 bedrooms and there wasn't even a bathroom area on the bottom floor. Then an upper floor and there was another 4 rooms and then a shower and a toilet, and then on the top floor another 4 rooms and a shower and a toilet. And I mean, I literally don't even need to go into context. You imagine what living with 9 other girls is like, and obviously nobody knows anybody. When
Yeah.
you're all thrown in at the deep end, you all have to mix at the beginning. All was fine at the beginning. By the end of the first year, it didn't get like bad, but it was just very much 2 groups.
Yeah, like divided.
Yeah, and I think that is understandable because I think in the real world, are you going to get on with all 9 people that you're thrown in to live with? Probably not. You know?
I did. I got on, well, you know what I'm like though. I get on with anyone.
So how
and
many
everyone.
of you was there?
I can't remember. I think there might have been 1, 2, 3. I think there might have been 8.
Oh, 8. See, that's still quite
Or 7.
a lot. See, I thought like
But
for
the
10
only
of
thing
us,
was
I
me.
like,
For me was the mess.
Yeah, but see that was half the reason with us.
Like the
it was
bin.
like
Oh.
we'd have a group chat, and obviously somebody wouldn't wash up one night, for example, and then it'd be like a massive argument on the group chat, and whoever had gone home that weekend, they'd get the blame, and it was just it got like beyond a joke.
Just wash your
I
pots.
couldn't have ever done it like for a 2nd or 3rd year. It was
Nah.
just first year was fine, and at the end of the day, I do think being thrown in at the deep end like that, it works in your favour because it means during freshers and things, you've got a nice group to start with. You know,
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're going out there by yourself. You know, you've got your people you live with.
Yeah.
But then I think obviously you all get to know each other, different characters, people clash.
It is hard,
just
but
divided.
for a group to just exclude one
Yeah,
person.
that's just nasty.
Yeah, it is.
That
So
isn't
I really,
just, that's not
I'm
just
not
dividing.
surprised.
No.
That would.
And I
really
think you've done the
upset me.
absolute right thing by still not being in contact with them and
Yeah.
not living with them in 3rd year. Why would you want to put yourself through that?
No.
It's just gonna
Hopefully
be
you
another
made
year
better
of-
friends on your course.
Yeah, real friends.
Real friends. Because
So-
we didn't live together. We just met on our course.
Yeah,
didn't we?
absolutely. Shall we do the final one that
Yeah,
we picked out?
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you go, but can you read?
Can I read? So.
Oh yeah, here.
Sorry. I was studying musical theatre at uni and I had just gotten myself a job as a shop girl. Everything was going fine until one night I got ...
Oh, not dot dot.
The
It
dot
reminds
dot
me of
dot.
Mamma Mia. Dot dot dot.
I got really drunk and slept with my boss.
Oh, Christ.
From then on, it was an awkward situationship that we kept on the down low. I would advise anyone against doing this.
Oh God.
I love it.
I love it, but
You
I
go,
feel
girl.
like I've like got anxiety for the girl. Like that would stress me out so much.
I know.
I would not be good at a situationship.
No.
I'm like an all or nothing type of girl.
Mm.
You're like,
I mean, I haven't. I'm like, so like I've been with lots of people. I have not. But I just think, girl, uni, live it.
yeah, I do think that. Like, I think it's like we said, like uni is an opportunity to be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
A blank slate, and it's
It
just,
is.
it's really an excuse to live for 3 years, however the hell you want to live, whatever you
Yeah.
want to do. Being a shop girl, I'm sure she has some cracking stories
Yeah.
of things she's seen.
I kind of wish I'd done something like that, but
Yeah, like just.
I just had such an ordinary, like I've worked in Primark.
Yeah, I worked in a coffee shop, funnily enough.
Look at that coffee shop.
But yeah, imagine the stories you'd have from being a shop girl in a nightclub. Like, I always think that, you know, if you go in a nightclub and you're sober, I feel like you'd have such a different, well, obviously you'd have a different experience, but
Yeah.
you'd see things so clearly.
Differently.
And like, imagine waking up next morning, you'd be like, the things I saw last night.
One of my flatmates actually was a shop girl, and I can remember it being so difficult though. Like, she'd be working until like 4 or 5 a.m. and then having to get up and go to uni. Oh well,
Yeah.
I suppose we
Really
did.
that on a night out.
But I mean, like consecutively, like
yeah,
we would
it
at
would
least
tell you,
get
and
a
I feel
break.
like for us, like that's a choice we've made to go
Yeah.
out, like to be at work
It'd be
until like
draining.
5 a.m.
Yeah, then having to go to uni. Nah.
Yeah, like at least when we wake up with a hangover, we were like, yeah, we've done this to ourselves.
Yeah, like how
that
it
poor
go.
girl was like, I'm here like trying to get my
Yeah,
money.
I'm grinding.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, but I think you're right. I think that's just one of them things that if you want to do something like that, like,
yeah.
it's a YOLO.
YOLO.
Oh, is that like cool to say
No.
anymore? Like, I
It's
think
definitely not.
I
We
think
are
am I
showing
showing
our
my
age.
age?
I love it. But on a whole, I think we should wrap it up by saying
Yes.
uni for us, I think it helped in a way of just giving us that bit of freedom before we've gone into such serious
Yeah.
jobs and such
Absolutely.
serious roles. But it's not for everyone, and if you're the type of person who wants to go out and get an apprenticeship, start work straight away.
Yeah, if there's an easier, well, not even an easy, if there's a
option
sort
that's
of
clear
better
to you,
route
yeah.
to get into what you want to get into, then absolutely.
Then, yeah.
And I think, it is ultimately
Personal
down.
choice.
Yeah, it's down to the individual. Like, I don't feel like we could sit here and be like, yes, go to uni, or no, don't go to uni because we didn't find it beneficial, or we did find it beneficial. Because I think, like you said, it depends on the route you want to go down.
Yeah.
And also, I do think it's probably really worth noting that, like, it's never too late. Like, just because you don't go when you're 18 and everyone's finishing their A-levels and they're going, that doesn't matter. Like, if you decide in your mid-30s, mid-40s that actually I'm going to go to uni and I want to be a midwife or a doctor, like, you know, that...
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, it's not written, you know, it's not a written rule to go when you're 18. It's never too late, and it's always down to the individual.
A lot of the people who I lived with were a bit older, I think.
Yeah, like mature students.
Or not even mature students, just, I don't know, how old
No, I think that's what you call them though, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Like, if you're not, like, you know, when they're a
18.
little bit older,
All right.
yeah. I think your class is like a mature student.
Oh, well, yeah.
Um,
I mean, they'll hate me if I call them that. Sorry, guys. Sorry, mature student.
So, all in all, is university worth it? Do we feel like it helped or hindered us?
I feel like it helped us.
I do, and I feel like it gave us priceless memories, life lessons,
Yeah.
life skills that we wouldn't have got by not going.
And obviously we met each other, so we can't say it hindered us, can we?
Absolutely. And we lived life for them 3 years, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't think we'd be here today without it.
Well, we wouldn't.
We actually wouldn't. Yeah.
Unless it's like that thing where it's like the invisible string theory, like we mentioned before, where everyone's connected. So even if you go on different paths, if you're destined to like meet
To be in each
someone,
other's lives.
it will happen.
I love
Who
that.
knows? Because
Invisible
we've met
string
each other.
theory. There we go.
Yeah.
So on
It's
that
a Taylor
note,
Swift
have
song.
we ticked off the university episode?
We've ticked it off.
Perfect.
Here's to next time.